I'm here to talk about how to zag when everyone around you is zigging. And if you are watching me right now, I need you to please just give me some love right there on your chat screen. All right, tell me which city and state you are watching this from. It's important to me to be able to get in touch with you. It's important for us to keep this conversation going. So tell me where you are calling in from, where you are, or where you are watching this from. Okay, I see China here from Lagos, Eric Philip, Destiny from Abeokuta, all right, Mary, Anes from Turkey, amazing, Douglas from Nairobi. All right, great. We want this to be global. We want to talk today about how we can zag when everyone around us is zigging in the season of corona virus. But before I get into it hard today, I want to give you a special gift. If you are watching this for the first time, if you are seeing this for the first time, just download a free gift, okay, at the cyberembassy.org/gift. I have 3 of my best-selling books on Amazon that I'm giving away for free on that page. And believe me, whether you're born again or not, those books will bless you. One of them is called Overcoming the Gideon Complex, how you can actually overcome limitations in your life and fulfill your destiny. And that teaching transcends whatever religion you carry yourself under. It's a kingdom message that I believe you can benefit from. Another free gift that I have there is called The Blessings of Adversity. And mind you, these are books I wrote years ago that are still very relevant today. The Blessings of Adversity. Many of us always assume there is nothing good in adversity when we get it. And to hear many Christians, anytime they enter into adversity, they start losing and binding. They start casting. They start doing vigil. Meanwhile, maybe God sent them that adversity to be able to help them to get to another level. That's why, like I said, I'm not into doctrine. A lot of what we do in our churches today actually take us away from what Christ asked us to do. And I'm not here to call out anybody. I'm just making you understand. If you yourself are saying that everything works out for good for them that love God and are called according to his purpose, why are you casting out devil when you are in adversity? Why don't you try to think about this adversity as something God probably allowed for a very good reason? That book will help you through it. Whether you live in Turkey, you live in India, you live in Nigeria, it doesn't matter. It takes a holistic look at how to deal with adversities. So get it right now at the cyberembassy.org/gift, and you will be blessed real good. And of course, there's also a third book there. So I'm giving away 3 free books that I'm selling on Amazon for $47 each right now. You can download that just as a gift for watching this, my first broadcast on my personal page for the Cyber Embassy of Christ. Of course, we broadcast all the time on our group page that you can actually go and like. We have a Facebook page called facebook.com/the-cyber-embassy. And we also have a group page, okay, private group for those who have decided to be members of our church. We have over 500 people there right now. You can join just to see what this is all about. All right. It will surprise you that we are not about church as usual. So encourage our church now by going to facebook.com/the-cyber-embassy and liking the page. Be one of the 29,000 people that are already finding this our page very, 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 very much of a blessing for them. We are not religious at all. When you hear me talk, you're going to know I'm not a religious person. I am a kingdom person. And you are going to love what you hear, regardless of the religion under which you fly. So go there right now and just give us some like. Okay, facebook.com/the-cyber-embassy. All right, that's just what I wanted to share before we go into the real talk for today. Right now, Corona more or less has taken over the world. It's taken over our world. Everybody is scared right now. Okay, everybody. Hold on a second. I just want to be sure this is okay. Okay, it's actually working. Sometimes you keep talking to yourself. You don't know that nobody is hearing you. Okay, so let me see that on my cell phone, so I can see as you guys are commenting. I see Prince Godfrey. Give us some love. Tell me the city and place where you are joining. Corona is taking over everywhere. It's like a joke. This thing started less than 3 months ago. It was like a joke in China. But right now, practically the whole of America is on lockdown. Italy is on lockdown. A whole nation, Italy, is on lockdown. All right? Europe is on lockdown. Almost everywhere there is the fear of coronavirus. We see perfectly normal human beings fighting over toilet paper inside supermarkets. My whole house is full of supplies. Why? Because everybody is scared. I don't know what they're scared of. The time will come that we'll not be able to go out or what, I don't know. But everyone is scared. Schools are closed. Despite the fact that there is really no evidence that kids can catch this corona. But over the abundance of care, and I agree, we have to be careful. Schools are shut down. My kids are at home. I love it when I see them. Even my daughter that is in medical school, she's home now. We don't know for how long. Everyone is listening to negative report. There's so much scare everywhere. Churches are closed. Churches were not able to run services, most of them in the U.S. This past Sunday. Schools are closed. And if you think you live in a country where there is no corona right now that may not affect you, you might be in shock. It is coming. And if it doesn't come, it could be something else tomorrow. So it is important for you to understand how to zag when everyone around you is zigging in this season of coronavirus. And because I fly under the Christian banner, and because I believe that the Bible, whether you call yourself a Christian or not, is one of those, is a book that has been given to encourage us, to help us. Forget all those over religious people. When you read some of those stories in the Bible, you learn amazing lessons. When you listen to what Jesus had to say, you forget the Christians now. Because some people will tell us they don't even want to be a Christian because they look at us Christians. We are a terrible set of people. I get it. But listen, you still have a responsibility to be the best you can be for yourself. So I'm taking a passage from the book of Numbers, okay, chapter 13, because it is what I'm going to use to help us, all of us, to learn how we can zag when everybody around us is zigging. In case you don't know the story, okay, you don't really have to bother much. I'll just summarize it for you. We all heard about the stories, whether you agree with it or not, as a Christian or Muslim or whatever, that there was a time that the Israelites were in slavery for 430 years in Egypt. Then God did all these miraculous powers, the 10 plagues of Egypt. It's a historical fact that is recorded, both in the Bible and outside of it, that these things happened. Okay, God took them out. And somehow he took them into the desert after crossing the Red Sea. And for a year, God was giving them new laws, new system, because these were slaves. They just left Egypt. They have no culture. They have a culture of enslavement. They have a culture of depending on other people to tell them what to do. So God had to reorientate their mind. So for 1 year, God took them into the desert and started giving them all those laws you see in Leviticus, in Numbers, Deuteronomy. He started telling them how to structure themselves socially. And incidentally, I ran across a passage in Leviticus the other day that actually more or less described what to do in terms of isolation during an outbreak like Corona. It's uncanny. The Bible already made provisions how to deal with it, but that's not what this is about. Okay, because I want everybody to benefit from this, whether you are a Christian or Muslim. Too many of us have been disillusioned by church, so we don't even go to church anymore. Many of us have been disillusioned with men of God, so we don't want to have anything to do with church. So this is not about church. Even though this is from the Cyber Embassy of Christ and All Internet Church, we are only talking about how this will bless you. All right, so when after 1 year, God decided that the time is right for them to enter the promised land that he promised them. So he told Moses to send people into the promised land to go check it out, to see what the land is about, who are the protectors there, what kind of fruits they have, what kind of food they have. It's a whole different teaching about why would God even do that. God knows everything in Canaan, in that land. Why will he send Moses to go and do investigation? After all, God created them. If you happen to believe that if you don't believe God created us, I can't help you. But if you believe God created human beings, why would God go need Moses to go inspect the land that God wants to give them? I think God was trying to teach us a lesson there. There can be no possession without preparation. So all of you that are gathering night vigils and naming and claiming, you're on your own. You cannot claim You cannot possess unless you prepare. God taught us that. Whether you are Muslim or Christian, in the book of Numbers, he himself sent Moses to go investigate, find out whether the land is good, who are the people guarding it, what kind of fruits do they have there, and all that before you invade. The fact that God has said you will live in houses you didn't build does not mean that the owners of the house will just give you the key without a fight. That is what many of us are missing in Christianity. We are gathering, doing night vigils, when we should be taking action and making preparations about how we are going to take over. Nobody's going to give you stuff. The fact that your pastor prophesied it does not mean it's going to happen without you doing your part. Do not be deceived. A man will reap exactly what he sowed. That's what the word says in every religion. I've checked that out. It is there in the Muslim religion. It is there in the Shinto religion. It is there in the Hindus. What a man will reap what he sows. So if you don't sow the seed of preparation, you can possess nothing. You can claim all you want, all those promises. I shall be the head and not be the tail. Unless you go to school or start a business, you can't be the head of anything. You can claim it all you want. But that's a side talk. I don't want to get us too distracted. We are talking about Corona. So Moses sent people to go investigate the land. And 12 of them, 12 leaders of Israel. Okay? The 12 people came back. All right? The 12 people came back after they have investigated the land. Like I said, there can be no possession without preparation. You can name it and claim it unless you go and come up with a business plan. You are not going to take it. Just accept. And don't deceive yourself. The way you always say, Muslim Christians always console themselves. Only God gives riches without sorrow, to console themselves. Who told you Bill Gates is a sad person? Who told you Warren Buffett has sorrow? He's probably happier than you are, because the word did say God is the only one that maketh rich without adding sorrow. It didn't say make Christians rich without sorrow. It's just a general statement. God makes rich without adding sorrow. So if you follow the principles laid down by Jesus particularly, because Jesus talked about all of this stuff, all right, you will get rich. You might not even accept Jesus. The law of the seed has got nothing to do with whether you accept Christ. You sow, you're going to reap. That's why when you sow corn, even though you're an idol worshiper, you reap corn. God did not say because you don't accept him, you're not going to reap your harvest of corn. So if you sow the seed, the Lord of the harvest will guarantee you your harvest without sorrow, because that has got nothing. Law of the seed time and harvest got nothing to do with whether you accept Jesus. Of course, if you don't accept him, you're also going to reap the rewards of eternal damnation. Law of the seed. Hey, if you say you don't want to know Jesus, you don't want to know God, then when you die, the reward for that you get. But as for on earth, you want to live good, you better be ready to hustle. So these guys came back. And we are talking about Corona today, so let's not get distracted too much. I have a tendency to do that. So they came up with a report. All right. The report is the majority, like in almost everything, they came back. They said, hey, Moses, we went into the land for which you sent us, and it does flow with milk and honey. Here's the fruit. But people who live there are powerful, and the cities are fortified and very large. Bottom line, they came back, like in everything, whether you're a pastor, a leader, a manager, whatever you are. When you want to set up a task force and you send people out there, you know what is going to happen? They're going to come up with different reports. Most times, just like when you go to court, you see the majority opinion of the judges and the minority. Be watching something here. This majority came back and said, yeah, the land is good. Everything is solid. But we can't take it because these people are too powerful. They have too much security. Then there's a minority report by Caleb and Joshua. They say, yeah, we should go up and take up the land, for we can certainly do it. One thing you need to note here, guys, the minority report did not dispute the facts. I thought that was so critical for you guys to get, because we are coming back to Corona in a minute. Joshua and Caleb, not anywhere. I don't care who you are as a Bible scholar. Go read it and tell me. They never disputed that there were giants in the land. They never disputed that the place is well guarded. They never disputed any of the facts that the majority gave to Moses. The only thing that was different was their interpretation of those facts. So the majority did not lie. There really were giants there. There really was a fortified territory there. The land was good. Everybody agreed. But the majority said, this thing that we see, we interpret it to mean we cannot take the land. Joshua and Caleb came back and said, no, it don't matter what we are seeing. We can take this land because it is right. And you first notice something. The people, the majority, got it wrong first by claiming, by using the word but. They said the land is beautiful. Everything is solid. But we cannot take it. That word is one of the biggest destiny limiters out there. The minute to focus on the negative, the minute to focus on the but. And every religion in the world over, they say that if you focus on the negative, you are paralyzed right there. You can't think. And that is what is happening with Corona right now. People who look at situations from the but angle, they never fulfill their purpose or amount for anything. See, it is so important because I'm going somewhere. This is about helping us to zag while everybody is zigging in the season of Corona. I haven't lost track. All right. Once you allow the first but to sink in any situation, the problem starts getting bigger and bigger in your mind. Take the majority first, if you know that story. First, they saw fortified and large cities. Then they got scared by what they saw. Now, all of a sudden, they say, we can't attack them. They are stronger. They've not even fought yet. Okay? The next thing, they said the land is devouring those living in it. See how the imagination starts to move. If the land really devours those living in it, how come there are human beings there? But they were no longer thinking. They've started interpreting the facts to take it to a whole new level. The next thing they saw, if you read that passage, they saw Nephilims. These are supposed to be angels who had relationship with human beings. They're supposed to be mighty warriors. I don't know how they could have seen Nephilims from the fortified territories that they actually saw. Then the next thing, their imagination went haywire. They said, we were like grasshoppers. To those who live there, see how they moved from the facts that they saw to the interpretation where they now see themselves as grasshoppers. Same way with Corona right now. You can see panic sell-off on Wall Street. More than 30% lost in just the last 1 week. Factories have not yet changed. The people working have not yet changed. Nothing else has changed other than the scare that Corona might come and catch them. Corona has not yet caught them, okay? But everybody is panicking. There's a way you start thinking. There's a way that woman at that supermarket probably had some toilet paper at home, but she saw somebody carrying a whole tray load of. I was just laughing at the video. So in her mind, if I don't get one of these, I'm probably going to die. My kids will not be able to poo-poo anymore. I will not be able to wipe my hands when I go to the bathroom. So I must fight to get one of these. And they started fighting. It's amazing what the mind does once you start thinking the worst of any situation. I want to go somewhere today and make you understand that every time something happens, like this Corona thing that we're talking about today, there will always be two interpretations of those facts. Majority, most times, the majority said we can't attack these people. They're stronger than us. In other words, everything about it is negative. Let's not go there. In fact, let's appoint a new leader. Let's go back to Egypt. That's screw God. That's what they said. This God that brought us here to come and kill us. Blah, 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 blah. Then there's the minority report. The few people, those who are going to profit from Corona. And I hope you are going to be one of them. Like the minority. They say we should go up and take possession of the land. I'm looking at Corona right now. I'm seeing opportunity to make so much money. It's not even funny. I'm seeing opportunity to reconnect with my family. I'm seeing opportunity to have a better relationship with my wife. Now we have more time. See the difference? You can choose to get scared and start behaving like a mad person. Even though you have 100 toilet paper in your house, you are still going to Walmart to go fight for one. Walmart is not going to close. Even if they close, there will be home deliveries. You can order this stuff online. They'll deliver it to you. So majority is not always right. In fact, 99% of the time, majority is never right. Right now, majority is zigging on the scary news of coronavirus. And you need to start learning how to zag, because there are so many things going on right now. Only those who have their heads around them are going to come out of this stronger. Let's look at the facts, okay? We know corona is a bad thing. It is lethal to people over 80 years old. But the reality of the matter, the facts on ground is that 95% of people infected with this are going to recover 100%. That is those under 70 years old. 95% of them will recover, meaning corona is going to kill. Corona is not as deadly as we all think it is. I'm not saying it's bad. And I'm not saying I'm not scared of what can happen. I'm actually an at-risk, corona at-risk person. You know why? My wife works in a hospital. She's a nurse. And a hospital, Nebraska Medical Center, is actually where they carry the first set of corona people to for quarantine. So every time she goes to work, it's a risk for me. So don't think I'm undercutting this. She's a nurse. She can't stop going to work. So they have this whole wing of quarantine, corona infected people, and she has to go to work and work 12 hours a day. There. So I'm at risk. So don't think I'm trying to minimize this. But my point is, 95% of people are scared, though 95% of those infected will recover. Stocks have lost 30% of their value, despite the fact that nothing else has changed here. Yes, I know it's still going to change down the road. I get it. But the panic sale in 4 days, people are scared about their children. They don't want their children to go to school anymore. Why? Because despite the fact on ground, it's saying that children are the most secure where this is concerned. Even when children get it, they don't even get symptoms. Of course, they can infect their parents. I can understand why they're asking them to stay at home. I get all of that. But what I always tell people, if a simple coronavirus can paralyze nations like this, let me throw in a little bit of my faith into this so that you got to start thinking. What will God do? Imagine what God can do with sinners, or what they say, sinners in the hands of an angry God. Should this be an opportunity for you to start rethinking your life right now? That what if this thing gets you? Because it can get you. You are not immune. Have you sorted out your eternity situation? Forget all these things about religion right now. If you believe that you're on this earth, something created you. So when you die, you're going to give account to that person, whether it's Christianity or whatever. Leave all of that religion aside. Have you sorted yourself out? But we're here to talk about how to zag when others are zigging. I didn't forget. I just had to throw that in there. Okay? People are stocking up on toilet paper. Though corona does not cause diarrhea, you see how people lose their minds when stuff starts happening? People are not stocking up on books to read. They are not stocking up on training materials to get better. They are stocking up on toilet paper, people. That's what happens when the heart gets crazy. I went to Walmart yesterday. The place where they have toilet paper is empty. And I'm asking myself, does it cause diarrhea? Why are we all going crazy like this? That's what happens when people get into panic mode. So this is how you can start to zag. Okay, while others are zigging. Okay? Or to zig when others are zagging. Either way, basically you go in the different direction from what everybody's going. Majority right now think the world is ending. It's so hilarious to see Christians post all this stuff. End time has come. I have news for you. No, Jesus is not coming soon. I'm not saying that flippantly. I know for a fact that Jesus is not coming soon. I know Christians don't like to hear that. Because Jesus himself said it. He said there'll be wars. There'll be rumors of war. There'll be pestilence. There'll be rumors of pestilence and all that. But he also said the end has not yet come. I don't know where Christians are reading their own Bible. All of a sudden, they are not thinking that rapture is about to happen. No, it's not about to happen. Paul taught the same thing 2,000 years ago. We are still here. So Jesus is not coming anytime soon. You know why? Jesus said there'll be wars and there'll be rumors of war. There'll be pestilence. There'll be all of that stuff. But the end has not yet come. He told us when the end will come. He said the end will not come until this kingdom, until this message of the kingdom has been shared all over the world. Christians need to start thinking about that. Because the message of the kingdom is not being shared across the world. We are still at the elementary level of give your life to Christ. We are still at the elementary level of the message of the good news of Christ. But we are not yet taking up the good news that Jesus preached. Two different things, people. The gospel of Christ and the gospel that Jesus Christ preached. Two different messages. And we have to preach both. One is about the good news of Christ, the reconciliator. The Savior is here. Obviously, you can't even begin to talk kingdom unless you are reconciled with Jesus first. That's the good news of Jesus Christ, which 95% of the churches are still doing every Sunday. The second good news is that the kingdom that Jesus promised is right here, right now. Jesus himself did not preach born again. I challenge all the scholars out there. He only mentioned it one time to Nicodemus in the middle of the night. The rest of his ministry, he talked about the kingdom of God right here. The kingdom of God is like, he gave us precepts. And he told these people when he was leaving, go into the world and teach them about this kingdom. So I know Christ is not coming anytime soon because the churches have not yet even gotten the message yet. They are still on verse 1, at least most of us. Dr. Miles Monroe spent his whole life trying to get us to get into the kingdom message. Some called him heretic. Some said he was setting up a cult. Some called him all sorts of names. But I believe he got it. Now, I'm not claiming I have all the answers. So I'm just saying that's what I believe. You can agree with me. You can choose to disagree. There are two gospels. The gospel of Jesus Christ and the gospel that Jesus Christ preached. They are not exactly the same. One leads to the other. You cannot even begin to understand the gospel Jesus Christ preached if you don't even understand the gospel of Jesus Christ himself, because Jesus is the key to get into the kingdom. Jesus brought the kingdom. So Jesus is not the kingdom. You guys got to get it. Jesus is the way to get into the kingdom. But Jesus himself is not the kingdom. He brought the kingdom for us. So if we spend 2,000 years still teaching people how to become born again, and then we are expecting that Jesus will come tomorrow, we are delaying him until we teach the message of the kingdom to the whole world. Then the end will come. That's what Jesus said. But that's just to put your mind at risk where I'm going here. So majority think the world is ending. I happen to think the world is just starting. That's why I'm bringing out the Cyber Embassy of Christ right now. It's an all-internet church. Many of you who are my friends don't even know that this church has been going on since January. We have 29,000 followers on Facebook. We have 540 committed members. Right now, we have 200 workers that I'm training using Facebook. We don't have a building. We are never going to have a building. We're not going to have anything physical. Our church is 100% online. We do Bible study. We do fellowship. We do service on Sunday. If you don't know how, you better inbox me and let me start teaching your church for free. Okay, so I think the world is just opening up. Many are thinking the days are wasted right now. But I'm thinking, no, it's not wasted. Now you have more time with your family. Many of us don't even spend 1 hour with our children. My kids are in medical school. The other one is in engineering school. I hardly ever see them. Now, all of a sudden, Corona has forced everybody to come home. Now I can see Michael 24/7 for the next 2 weeks to 4 weeks. My daughter as in medical school is here. Why can't I begin to bond better? When we went on vacation, we had great time. We played games. I'm able to see the mind of my children. So rather than seeing this as a wasted day, I'm beginning to see this as an opportunity to bond with my kids. Are you flowing with me now? That is zagging when others are zigging. Many are fearing that the death is coming now. But I'm thinking maybe God just gave you another opportunity to think about your ways. Because you may not get an opportunity. Some people just go in an accident and they die. They don't have opportunity to rethink their life. Right now, rather than you thinking death is outside your house, maybe you should be thinking God is giving me another opportunity to rethink my ways. If I die today, do I have a good account to give to my Creator? Have I settled my affairs right? Do I even have a will? I'm talking about everything about your life right now. Maybe this is an opportunity. We've seen very rich people who died without having will for their children, and they are still fighting for 20 years. One of the most prominent Nigerian lawyers, okay, his children are still fighting for his will till today, and he died more than 20 years ago. So rather than seeing it as a wasted time, see it as an opportunity. Maybe that book you have wanted to write for a long time, that business plan that you never had time. Maybe this corona is your God-sent opportunity to stay home and get it done. See the mindset? Many people see this corona thing as a major disaster for their business. Because if you run a physical business where people can no longer come into your store, okay, they've closed most businesses right now in the US. People are in their houses crying. But rather than seeing it as negative, instead of following the majority report, why don't you think minority? Why don't you zag? Why everybody's zigging? Maybe this is an opportunity for you to develop alternative, diversify your business. You have been telling yourself, I'm going to get my online shop going. You've been saying it for 1 year. You don't have opportunity to do it. You are too busy running up and down. Now you have been forced to stay home. Maybe you need to start a whole new line of business. If you're a real estate agent, if you're a travel agent, or you work in the cruise industry, you know your industry is dying. Even after Corona goes, people are still going to be scared of being in crowded places. I go to the cruise every year. My wife already told me that I don't care what happens after Corona. I am not going to go into any cruise. She saw what happened to people who went on cruise when they were coming back. So that means your industry is about to suffer for the next 1 or 2 years. So maybe this is an opportunity to rethink. What do I do now? What is the next opportunity? You won't have the opportunity to think all of that if you are going to work every day. You got to zig you got to zag when everybody else is zigging around you. What I'm trying to say is that you need to keep your head while everybody around you are losing theirs. I'm blaming it on you. That is not original, by the way. I think that is Dr. Seuss. Okay, and the man's right. The world just changed. Instead of whining, start looking for ways to win. That's what I told my people on Sunday. All right, when we had service, I told them that instead of whining about this situation, you need to start looking for ways to win. Social distancing is going to be huge, even after this. So you that you're watching me as a pastor, is your church ready? I've been saying this thing about internet church for almost 3 years. Very few are listening to me. Even when I did a free conference, several of them came, more than 100 pastors. But after the workshop, many of them are not doing anything. Now their churches are closing down. Some churches can't survive 4 weeks without going to church, without opening. I'm talking business-wise because they need that offering. Forget whatever anybody is saying. It's an organization they need to run. They have to pay staff. They have to pay for their buildings. Your church don't open for 4 weeks and you don't have alternative to run church. May your church not close down after Corona. You got to start thinking. It means that your church needs to start looking at how can I move some of my programs online? How can I begin to do stuff where I can continue to engage with my members even when our church is closed? We have Bible study every Sunday. Okay? We have Bible study. Every Thursday. We have fellowships in different groups. We have it on Skype. We have it on WhatsApp. We have it on Telegram. We have it on Facebook. So it don't matter what is going on. People are still meeting. And the internet is easy for you to do that. Let me give something to pastors and workers, church workers watching this right now. All right? I've put together a 3-day conference. Right? And it is free. So don't think that Pastor O is trying to get money from you now. My own assignment in life is to help you do your job better as a church. Because that is the banner under which I fly. Okay? So we are putting together a conference, a 3-day conference beginning next week, Monday. For 3 days, I'm going to cover different areas on how you can use the internet to maximize. So how you can maximize the internet for the Great Commission. We're going to be talking about how you can run live services online. I'm not talking about broadcasting your church service live to the internet. I'm talking about how you can actually do a made for the internet service. Our church here in Omaha, okay, it's a church that has over, I think, 4,000 or 5,000 members. We are all forced to do some church service, the physical church I used to attend. And it was beautiful. Almost 1,000 people were there because now they are figuring it out. If you don't know what to do, okay, so if you don't know what to do as a church, as a pastor, as a worker, I encourage you, register yourself and your workers for this conference. It's an online conference, 3 days, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. New York time. I am going to train every day on how you can run your church on the internet so that you can begin to have a more credible online presence. I'm not saying you have to close your physical churches. Physical churches will never die. There are some people that need to be in that physical environment. I get it. But you're diversifying. You are getting more people online. You are getting more first-time visitors using the internet. You are discipling your people better on the internet. You are getting more funding on the internet. It will amaze you the kind of money you can get if you do your work well as a church and you are representing people well. Register right now, netevangelismconference.com. It's a free conference. There is only seat for 100 people because we are using an online conferencing app, and the one I signed up for can only take 100 people live. So you need to register now to reserve your own seat here. That is my own contribution for helping the Christian community, organizations, and people who want to continue to do their mission on the internet. We are going to also be organizing a Kingdom Netpreneur conference about teaching Christians how to generate income online, particularly when the roads are closed. People are doing business. I'm doing business right now. My business is actually increasing. The more people stay at home, the more they can go out, the more people are listening to what I have to do on the internet, and you can also be part of that. You have to learn how to zig, how to zag when everybody is zigging. When you understand how to zag when everybody is zigging, it can make a big difference in your life, in your mission, in your career, in your business, regardless of what you are involved with. So you need to understand how to think that way. I mean, I learned that phrase from Arthur Anderson way back in 1989 or 1990, when one of our teachers, her name was Bisilami Kora. She's married, I can't remember her current name now. But she used that phrase when she was teaching us, who were rookies then, in Arthur Anderson. She said, number one thing you have to learn as a good consultant, you have to learn how to zag when everybody is zigging, and it's stuck in my brain. And then I had it again from Randy Gage, like 10, 15 years later, when I was doing network marketing. He used the phrase and I freaked out. He said, you have to learn to zag when everybody is zigging. And that has conditioned my life, everything I do. And you need to get that phrase into your brain. Majority is always, most times, never right. That's why we have leaders who are not the best in our societies ruling us. Majority voted for them. The fact is, two people can observe the same data and come to different conclusions, and you need to always be aware of that. I know you know that, but are you in the moment every time about that? The majority spies and the minority, they saw the same country, the same cities, the same roads, the same grapes. They even brought samples back. They saw the same cattle. They saw the same battle formations, but they came to different conclusions in the way they interpreted the data. So how are you interpreting the data of coronavirus today is what is important. The data was identical, but the reports were different. Why? It is what I call the power of perspective. The way you look at stuff is what determines whether you win or lose. Your perspective is what determines whether you give in to hysteria or whether you give in to opportunities. I've always told everybody that is close to me that what you see is determined not by your eyes, Your eye is just a place to give you data. What you really see is your interpretation of the data. You need to hear that again. What you see is determined not really by your eyes, but by how you interpreted the data. That's why somebody can look at the same object and say it's blue. Another one can look at it and say it's yellow. Another person can see hold up traffic and say traffic in Nigeria, for instance, is impossible. It's a waste of time and keep railing against the government. Another person can see it as an opportunity to sell to people who are stuck in hold up. The same data, different interpretation. When traffic started getting serious in Nigeria, some people started investing in pure water because they know people are stuck in traffic, in heat, they will want to drink. So rather than whining about bad traffic, they were investing money in pure water. You can see two Christians right now looking at this corona. Some of them are saying end of church. Our church is about to die. Jesus is about to show up. Jesus the Temabo. Others are seeing opportunity for their church to grow. Some people who have 18, 20 people attending their church services, 50 people, 100 people, which is most 70% of the churches have less than 100%, less than 100 people attending their services every Sunday. Imagine if they now decide over the next 1 month, I want to learn how to do online church in addition to my physical church. When I preached last week Sunday, this 3 days ago, over 600 people watched me live. I'm not kidding. Go to the Cyber Embassy page on Facebook. That same sermon now has now been watched by over 3,000 people in less than 3 days. Essentially, I'm preaching to 3,000 people when I don't even have a church building. And the church has not even started. We are going to get inaugurated sometime next month. How much more you, that you have much more followers. So you can see the end of church or you can see the beginning of new opportunities. Right now, many people are seeing loss of jobs everywhere. That is the zigging mentality. The way for you to die is maybe it's time for you to learn new skills. If you're going to lose your job, are you going to wait until you lose it? Or you're going to start looking for new skills that you can use while you're at home? See? Zigging, zagging. People look at Corona right now, they see wasted opportunity, wasted man hours. Or you can see it as a new opportunity to bond with your wife, to bond with your children. Opportunity to start a project that you have not been able to start because you don't have time. You work hourly. You have to be at work, particularly those of us living in America. You are working 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. If you are in us, that's a 12-hour shift. There's no time to do anything else. Now, all of a sudden, they're saying everybody sit at home. That means it's an opportunity for you to bring out all those dreams that you have closed and start working on them. So what do you see? This Corona right now. Be telling me, what do you see? What is your perspective? What do you see about this Corona? Do you see a gloom and doom, or do you see great opportunities? You got to zag while everybody around you is zigging, because what we really see is determined not by our eyes, but by our perspective. Again, for those of you just joining us, I want to go over the free gift that I'm giving everybody who are watching us for the first time. All right, we have a special free gift that you can get at the cyberembassy.org/gift just for watching this today. Let me put that on the screen again here. All right, .org/gift. I have 3 books that I'm putting up out there for you. Okay, that I believe will be a tremendous blessing to every one of you who are watching this right now. Okay, I have, and you don't have to be a Christian to be blessed by this book that I'm giving out there. All right, one of them is called Overcoming the Gideon Complex. It's one of the books I've written a long time ago, one of my best books ever on Amazon. That book will teach you how to overcome your personal limitations and fulfill your destiny, whatever it is that God has purposed you for. Whether you're a Christian, Muslim, or unbeliever, please go download it. Another book there is The Blessings of Adversity. Again, I wrote it a while back. Too many of us, we only see devil in everything around us, even though we ourselves say devil has no power. So if devil has no power, where is all this power coming from? If all power belongs to God, why are you crediting devil for negative stuff that happened to you? We are not thinking. Many of us as Christians, we don't think. We just quote because some pastor said it or because there's a passage in the Bible, we quote it out of context. If devil had no power, where did he get the power to put you in the situation that you are in? There's nothing that devil does that God did not permit. Once you come to realization of that and you embrace that, and you also know that whatever happens to you, what the plans of God for you are plans of good, not of evil, to bring you to an expected end. So when you get into a negative situation, you have to understand that it didn't happen to you behind God. God permitted it. Maybe you violated one of his laws of the seed. It's an opportunity for you to know what is the expected end that God wants to put me. I always explain this like all of us who say, oh, everything I'm going to do, God already decided. No, God didn't decide for you what you are going to do here. You have free will. But God is smart enough because he's the one that created you. Before you make your move, he already anticipated where you're going. And then he's recalibrating you. And I like in the way God works with us to navigate in our car. When he put us here, he programmed where we are supposed to go for us. He told us the way he created you, the kind of shape he gave you, the mentality, the personality was to take you to a certain end. But when we get here, because we have free will, we decide to take different roads. But every time you take a different road that will take you away from your destiny, God recalibrates your navigator. Remember your car, when you get off the road to where the navigator is directing you, it will say recalculating, recalculating. Then the next thing you know, it gives you another route to still get to that destination that you are going. Same way with God. He's never surprised. When you make a move, God makes his own move to still help you to get to where you need to go. The problem is many of us, we keep turning off the road, the navigation that God gave us. We keep making the wrong turns, even though the navigation says keep going for 10 miles. We take a detour at mile 2. And then it says recalculating, recalculating. Then God recalculates and puts other incidents in your life to force you back onto the road that will get you to your expected end. But we ignore it. I talk about that a lot in that book, The Blessings of Adversity. How adversity could actually be the biggest blessings that you can get. America right now, we are in adversity, we think. But coronavirus is going to teach us a lot of lessons. Number one, it's going to teach our government you can't depend on China. For vital products like antibiotics and all that stuff, they need to stop doing some of those stuff locally. Because China is threatening right now, they're not going to sell us antibiotics with some of this stuff going on, from what I hear. That's a good, because why should a country depend on another one for vital supplies? Blessings of adversity. Many of us who have not had 1 hour together with our husband or wives in the last 1 year, now you're getting your blessing to recalibrate your marriage, because now your husband or wife is going to be stuck at home for some time. After you have looked at yourself for 1 or 2 days, you better start talking. Your children that you haven't connected with, they are about to stay in your house for the next 1 month. What are you going to do about that? Blessings in adversity. So please go download that at the cyberembassy.org/gift. All right, let me start bringing this to a close now, because we want to keep this under the hour. Many of you do not. We start complaining about data now. Be wary of the majority. When the majority is zigging, you should be zagging. So here's the mindset of the winner. Let me quickly go through that. That help the minority to have a good perspective in a time of difficulty. All right, and you want to put these 4 mindsets in your mind. You want to make sure, if you have to make a note, because every time you refer to it, it will help you to zag when everybody around you are zigging. So let's look at the 4 mindsets as we start bringing this to a close now. The 4 mindsets that allow Caleb and Joshua to zag when the majority around them are zigging. And you can use that in the season of Corona for yourself. Number one thing that I noticed from that incident is that Caleb and Joshua valued their inheritance more than the fear of going to go take it. See, when you value something more than the pain of going to go take it, you're going to not be let that adversity affect you. While others saw trouble, they saw exactly what God had promised, a land flowing with milk and honey. Go and look at chapter 14, verse 8 for reference there. So the question then is, how much do you value your inheritance? How much do you value your business? How much do you value your family? You can't keep doing doom and gloom. You gotta detest your current situation so bad that you will not mind the pain of going to go get it. That's what I mean by that. The reason why you are stuck in your mediocrity or in not achieving what you purpose in your mind is that you are too afraid of the pain of going to go get what you really belong to you. Your pastor has prophesied on your life. God has even spoken to you personally. You yourself, you have seen it. But the pain of going to go get your inheritance is what has limited you. So you have to value your inheritance more than the fear of taking it. Do you believe you can possess the land God promised you? Or you are too afraid of the giants that are living there right now? This is what I'm talking about. Do you believe that the time for the prophecies that your pastor has been talking about has come in your life? Or you are looking too much at the fear of the problem of going to take it? Do you believe the time has come for you to be what you can be for that idea? Or do you see giants? You see the difficulties. That's number one. Number two, stay on this number one just for reference. If the Lord is with us, he will lead us into that land, a land flowing with milk and honey. That's the way they saw. They saw their inheritance rather than the problems. But the majority in verse 31 says, we can't attack those people. They are stronger. They look at the pain of going to go take their inheritance. You want to live in houses that you did not build? Then you better be ready to go take it. I remember the crash of real estate. Let me just divert a bit on that. A while back, when people in California were losing their houses, all of us remember that in 2007 or 2009, when all of a sudden real estate nosedived and everybody was owing more than their property was worth. A lot of people started putting their property up for sale. And I was in church then. I was still pastoring a physical church. So I came to church that Sunday. I said, guys, the time has come for you to live in properties that you did not build. But you have to go out there and knock on your neighbor's door. When you see a sign that says for sale by owner, that is somebody who is underwater on his property. Go there, make him an offer much below what the property is worth, that you will take it over so that they don't go bankrupt, so that they don't lose their credit. You don't have to pay down payment. You don't even have to have a credit yourself. Do owner-occupied deals. It sounded like a joke, but I remember then several people went out at my command, at my encouragement, to start signing deals with those who own properties that they want to sell. They were getting great deals. People were going to banks offering, because the bank are now saddled with lots of property they can't sell. They are willing to give you 50% off or 70% off just to clear it off their books. Go to them, apply to buy, and tell them you don't have down payment. The banks will figure out a way to work out your down payment. And it's coming again. People are going to start selling stuff at ridiculous prices. People are going to be desperate. You need to go out there and take it. Give them an offer that really costs you nothing, but that takes them out of their present problem. When people are scared, they will take whatever deal you give them. That's number one. Number two, how to zag when everybody is zigging. Joshua and Caleb had confidence in God, but the majority focus on their own limitations. Because, see, when season of problem comes, all of us start thinking about our problems. Oh, I don't have enough savings in the account. How will I pay my bills? I don't have this. I don't have that. Oh, I'm exposed. I have underlying condition. They are panicking because they are focusing on their own limitations. But every time people are zigging like that, you can start zagging by focusing on God. Have your confidence in God. God is the ultimate arranger. Majority said, we can't fight them all. They're going to kill us. because they are looking at the equipment they have. These are slaves who have been in the desert for 1 year. They've not really fought any serious war. So are they going to go, or the little wars they fought, is Jesus, that is God that did it for them. So rather than thinking that, they forgot. They are thinking about their own limitations. But the minority, they said, you need to look at that verse 8, Numbers 14. They said, if the Lord is with us, he will lead us into that land and he will give it to us. They put their confidence in God. They know they are not as strong. They know they don't have the power to fight. But they said, God promised this stuff. If we only trust him, he will take us there. So this is the time you want to put your confidence in God that you and your family are going to be safe. That no matter what's going down, you are going to be okay. That your business is not going to go bankrupt. Then you put your confidence in God. Stop worrying about what you cannot do. Start focusing on what you can do and then trust God to perfect it. That's number 2. So when you get into a situation where everybody is panicking and focusing on negatives, you start focusing on your confidence in your God, because your God is able, if only you will have confidence in him. He said so. But in the time of stress, you know what? Many of us, we forget what God can do. Just like these Israelites. These are the same Israelites that God took out with signs and wonders from Egypt. These are the same Israelites that when they got to the desert and there was no food, God made sure manna showed up every morning. When they got tired of eating manna and they wanted meat, God brought meat from the air and they were eating. The same God that made sure that their clothes did not wear out. Imagine a set of people that wore the same shoes for 40 years. Their shoes did not wear out. They forgot about the power of God to come true in the time of difficulty. They now started cursing God. They say, well, let us just, this God has brought us into the desert to come and kill us. The same God that opened up the Red Sea for them, that let us kill the leaders. Let us just go back into slavery. Some of you are already considering going back to slavery wherever God has already liberated you from. You need to have confidence that God himself had come true for you in some crazy spots before. So when you get into another crazy spot, you got to remember to keep your confidence in your God, because he is able. That's what Joshua and Caleb, that's what made them to be able to zig when everybody, to be able to zag when everybody around them was zigging. They had confidence. They said, the Lord, if the Lord is with us, let's not be stupid. Let's not ignore God. Let us put our confidence in him. He will lead us into the land. Amazing. If you have that mentality, you will be able to zag when everybody around you is zigging. God is your provider. Remember, yes, you still have to hustle. I'm a big believer in hustling, but the real provider is Jehovah Jireh. You can't forget that. Even when things got tough, you have to understand that, yeah, Corona is flying, but your God is able. Businesses are going to close, but my God is able. Then you go to him, put your confidence in him, and he will start giving you ideas of what to do. So do you believe that God can help you solve your problems, or only see giants preventing a solution? That is the question. That's how you begin to zig, begin to zag when those around you are zigging. The minority said, if the Lord is with us, we will take them down. They had confidence in God. Remember that in this season of Corona. Number 3, Joshua and Caleb understood the danger of a rebellious spirit, but majority did not. I'm just sorry for all those Christians that are passing out stupid texts and saying that the end has come for America. No, the end has not come for America. America will continue to try. 200 and something million people. Less than 2,000 cases of Corona. That is good. Yeah, we know some people have died. That's bad. But for what it could have been, you can't reject God. In your situation, you can't say God has now come to come and kill you. The same God that has preserved you. Many of us, when we get into problems, the first thing we want to do is just move away from our God. And I'm not talking religion here. I'm talking about you walking in confidence that your God is going to help you. I've been there before when some things happened to me. I didn't go to church for a year. I remember when I left my job in Nigeria, this dope media thing that everybody talks about. I haven't really addressed that. But I knew how much it affected my faith to see what people had to say about me. For 1 year, I did not go to church. But that was one of the most stupid things I ever did. Because you can't rebel against God. That's what majority do when they get into a problem. You have to guard against it. Men will always disappoint you. Your closest ones are the ones that will start that rumor even. In my own case, it's my closest people. Some members of my family who should know better. But they are not God, so you can't judge God by what people did. Joshua and Caleb understood that. They said, only do not rebel against God. That's one of the technology for zagging when everybody is zigging. But the majority curse God. If you read that passage, they said, no, this God has brought us here to kill us. They rebelled. I don't know if you really understand the danger of rebelling against God's will for you, or if you are playing. For 3 years, God has told me to go and pioneer an all-internet church so that I can encourage other churches and other pastors to start thinking seriously. There are big churches out there that if they get into this internet thing, they will take over conversation online. But I was hesitant because I don't want to be a pastor. I don't think I'm qualified. I still don't think I am. I have too many personal issues to be a really strong pastor to guide anybody. But God said, go and model it. When you model it, whether it's 3 months, whether it's 6 months, whether it's 1 year, you can do. Others will get encouraged. Many people will put money there. Many people will start doing their own version of internet churches. For 3 years, I ignored the call until December 2019 when I went to Nigeria. And one young boy told me that, Pastor, you are here teaching us how to do this internet thing. Why don't you go model one? And before he spoke, I had already gotten that feeling in my heart. That God said, if we don't do this, we're going to get somebody else. So I chose not to rebel against God despite knowing my limitations. I don't even want to be addressed as a pastor because I know I'm very limited. But it is what it is. I got to go. That's where I'm going with the Cyber Embassy of Christ. Do the best I can. And I'm telling my members right now, less than a year from now, I want one of you to take over as the pastor of this church. I'm not a pastor. I'm an instigator. I'm a catalyst. My job is to go teach other pastors how to do this stuff. So the same way with you. Many of you are rebelling against God in your assignment now because somebody hurt you. Because of your personal limitations. Because of what people will say. I know what people will say about me when they say Pastor O is starting a church. Some are going to say he wants to make money online. Some are going to talk all sorts of stuff. They're going to say, oh, this, that one that used to have girlfriend. They're going to say all sorts of stuff. I know. But it's not going to stop me. I'm still going to do what I can do. Same way with you. You can't let your negatives stop you from fulfilling your destiny. Every one of us has got a role to play. Some roles are 1 month. Some roles are 1 year. Some are forever. But you got to play your role for the kingdom of God to come on this earth. Jesus Christ already brought the kingdom with himself as the key to enter the kingdom. We are in the kingdom. We should experience the fullness of it. You can choose to do God's will immediately, or you can wait until he throws you into the water like Jonah, or maybe blinds you like Paul. You can choose. Because the navigator, remember that thing that I said about navigator? When you miss it, God will recalibrate you. When you miss it, he recalibrate you, still take you to the same expected end. But if you keep insisting on going off track, sometimes to recalibrate you, he might have to arrest you at home, like Corona. He may have to blind you. He may have to make some people around you die. I'm not kidding. A lot of stuff is going to be sorted out about America right now. I'm not a socialist. I'm a capitalist to the core, guys. But Bernie Sanders, that I don't think I will ever vote for him because his policies are crazy. And I'm not talking politics, and I'm talking myself personally. But the man has been talking something very important. He's been saying every American should have medical. That discussion, we are going to have it in the wake of this Corona. Now I'm hearing everybody can go test without having insurance. Now I'm hearing that if you are sick, you're at home, they should pay you if you can't go to Corona. Is that not free medical by force? Because if Britain can have it, if Europe can have free medical, why can America not have it? Now I'm no longer persuaded that we shouldn't have it. I'm a capitalist. But why shouldn't we provide medical in a place like America? We have to figure out a way. Yeah, it's going to be expensive, but let's figure it out. We don't have to break the economy to give everybody opportunity to be able to use a doctor. Now I'm a believer in that, even though I'm still going to vote Trump. Somebody needs to start talking about it. We are going to have that discussion, even us that are conservatives. Because Corona, the good thing that will come out of it is when it's over in May or June, America will have to give a lot of socialist benefits to its own people. So if they can do it one time, why can't they have a systematic way of doing it? That will be the discussion. Do you understand what I'm saying now? Finally, fourth point. I don't want to go too much into politics here. All right. The minority expected the Lord's help as they moved, but the majority felt helpless. Many of us will go with the crowd because most times the crowd come with the helpless mindset. No, it's over. We are going to die. Let's go get all the toilet roll. I don't know how toilet roll will be the solution. If you can, if there's a problem, if you are dying, is it how you are going to wipe your hands that is your problem? Excuse my language. Is that the most important problem in your life at that point? When they see water flowing. But that's how people think. They think it's over. They feel they're helpless. But those who are smart, those who want to zag, when everybody is zigging, they will expect that God will come through somehow. Because his job is not to destroy us. They will work as if God himself is going to show up at this critical time. They expect him to show up. The minority, for instance, look at their mindset. They said their protection is gone. Now they're interpreting, they haven't seen anything yet. Remember, all they saw was bad road. All they saw was fortified territories. All they saw was that these people are strong. Those are the facts. But the majority and the minority interpreted it differently. The majority interpreted it that we cannot take that land. They're going to kill us. In fact, we are grasshoppers. The minority, on the other hand, said, no. In spite of what we are looking at, the just shall live by faith. What you see is not the reality, people. It is the way you interpret what you see. Joshua and Caleb say, as we are looking at these people, their protection is gone, but the Lord is with us. Let's not be afraid of them. Can you imagine that mindset? Is the way you interpret your what you see that determines whether you get a confidence to go take it. Sometimes you think an enemy is so formidable and you're afraid to fight him. I remember a big story, and this is really funny. In my secondary school, his name is Sikiro Olubogma. I don't know if he's watching this now. He may not even remember the fight. I used to intimidate everybody in my secondary school then. My mouth was so strong. Everybody is afraid to fight me because I am just a talker. Before you even think of fighting the way I'm raking, before you'll be scared. But this guy, his name is Sikiro Olubogma, my friend. So one day I was just raking. The boy just look at me like this. That this man, that he was bigger than me, obviously stronger, but I've intimidated them for years. The boy was looking at me as I was saying, I will finish you if you even get up from there. The boy just got up calmly and gave me one blow in my solar plexus. Just one. I didn't know how blow used to be until that time. I was gasping for breath. I could not breathe. For like 2 minutes, I was on the floor, gasping like a fish. One blow. That's how my meat as a strong guy disappeared. All of a sudden, people see that this boy cannot fight. True story. I can never forget the guy. Because his name is Sikiro Olubogma, my very good friend. So my point was that for months and years, I've been telling them, everybody has believed I'm stronger than I was. Until one guy stepped up and gave me a serious blow. Then everybody realized that it's OJ. Same thing happened in David and Goliath. For 30 days, David and Goliath was intimidating everybody. Nobody was ready to step up and confront the guy because of his mouth. He was raking and raking and raking and raking morning and night. And because he was big, David stepped up and they realized that this man is not even Kote Ekpo, as they say in Nigeria. We just one stone. One stone. The guy was down. The Lord is with you. If you dare to confront the giants, God then now has the momentum, the opportunity to come to your aid. Like I always say, it is not David's stone that fell Goliath. I know you probably don't believe that, but read the story again. They said when David shot at him, the stone entered his forehead, but it fell on his face. Have you ever seen where somebody is hit from the front, but it fell forward? You will normally fall to your back, right? But the Bible said Goliath fell on his face. So that means as David shot, I believe, now that's not in the Bible, though. You don't have to take my word. I believe that as David confronted him and shot, all the holy angels just hit the man together. Boom, from the back. And it was on his face. But my point, though, is that you need to understand that if you are strong, if you believe that God will come through, he will come through. Do you only talk about the Lord is my shepherd? But when you see a little cat, you are running up and down. Do you really believe that God is your present help in times of trouble? You have been cutting it for years. But now you are scared to death of corona. You call yourself a man of faith, a woman of faith. You quote Psalm 91 like it's a rice and dodo that you are eating. But one little problem, you believe that death has come. Your perspective needs to change, people. Do you really believe if you dwell in the secret place of the Most High that you will abide under the shadow of the Almighty? You are just talking. A lot of Christians, all they do is talk. All they do is talk. If the Lord has given you the land, what is stopping you from going to go take it in your business? I hear Christians tell me, I don't have paper. That's why I cannot excel. I don't have this, I don't have that. Yet there are guys who are illegal aliens who are taking over territories. Arrows in London is owned by a guy that is not a British citizen, right? If the Lord is with you, you will take it. Your vision, and I'm going to close with this because my time is basically out. All right, and I want to hear from you. I want to hear back from every one of you watching this. What are your thoughts? Your vision is not determined by your eyes, but by your interpretation of what you are seeing. Men of faith. Now I'm talking to Christians now. For you, if you say you are not a Christian, I really can't help it. Because remember, Corona should remind you of the mortality of every man. Any one of us, God will preserve us, but any one of us can go down on this thing. So the question is, have you tidied up your eternity? If you are to go down with this Corona, you have the opportunity now. More likely you will survive it, but this is an opportunity for you to think, what if I were to go down? What am I going to tell my maker? And start making arrangements to do that reconciliation thing? Sir, because you're going to give account unless you believe you descended from apes and that there's no God, in which case I can't help you because the fool said there is no God. So if you're not a fool and you believe there's a God, then that means when you die, there's going to be an accounting. Have you sorted it out? Because you're still busy saying that all these Christians are idiots, that you're not going to give your life to Christ. You're busy arguing doctrine. Forget doctrine now. Talk about yourself. But let's come back here. Men of faith are gathered by what the way they interpret. They are not guided by what they see. They are guided by their interpretation, by their vision. By faith, Noah, when warned about things to come, in holy fear, built an ark to save his family. By faith, that's what faith is. I always say it. Faith is not a feeling. Faith is not an emotion. Faith is something you do. A lot of us in Christianity, we deceive ourselves. We say we have strong faith. Every time I hear a man of God says, I'm a strong man of faith, I just laugh. None of us have any faith. We are just trying hard. Because the Bible did say, if your faith is as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, be ye cast and go into the sea, and it will obey you. How many men of God do you know that have cast any mountain into the sea? Even one small stone. I've not been able to do that. So it would be stupid of me to be saying I have strong faith. I try to have faith. We are still trying. We don't have any yet. Because faith is not an emotion. Faith is not a feeling. Faith is something that you do. By faith, Abraham, when called to go to a land, a place he will later inherit as inheritance, he obeyed and went, even though he did not see it. Are you guys flowing with me here? He went, even though he had what he saw before his eyes was barren land. Strong people are guided by vision, not what they see with their eyes. What you see is just data. What you see is just information. How you interpret the information is what is making the difference between what is in your bank account and what you are eating. What do you see? You have to ask yourself all these funny questions as you go home today. Do you really believe God can help you to start that ministry to bless the body of Christ? Or do you see the giants of time or ability or personal problems? I was seeing giants with the Cyber Embassy of Christ for years. 2017 is when I believe God has given me the vision to start an all-internet church. But I didn't want to start it. I said that before. I was scared. Number one, I didn't want to be a pastor. Number two, I didn't think I was qualified. I still don't think I'm qualified to tell any other woman being out to run their life. That's a tough thing. I'm still trying to figure out God. I'm still trying to figure out this Christianity. So who gave me right to go be telling people this is what Christianity is? But I realize that is focusing on the giants. Focusing on those who will criticize me is focusing on giants. But if I go in the strength that I have, God can begin to raise people that are even bigger than me to take over this ministry. And in January this year, 2 months ago, we started. 29,000 followers, 540 members on Facebook group, in our personal Facebook group. Some churches don't have 540 members. I have 200 workers who have volunteered to be part of the workers of the church. And we are moving forward. For me, it might be only 3 months that I can do this. I know I get distracted easily. But the thing is that God has started a movement. Now I'm consulting for churches on how they can do made for internet programs, not just starting doing live broadcasts of their church services, but where they can do made for internet vigil prayer, made for internet counseling sessions, made for internet evangelism team. You might think it's not possible. It's already happening. We don't have a physical church, but we counsel people every week. We don't have a physical church. We do Bible study every week. We don't have a physical church. We do service every week. All right. So to make sure that those who are interested, I'm going to show this again, get an opportunity to learn. As I'm rounding down, I'm putting together, because first, the work of God, before we even go to making money. I'm going to do that for Christians who want to learn how to exploit the internet. But for now, I'm organizing a 3-day conference starting on Monday for pastors, ministers, church workers, how they can maximize the internet for the Great Commission. Because if your church is closed down, does not mean the Great Commission has to stop. But how do you do that? How do you do fellowship online? How do you do Bible study where everybody will participate well? How do you do church service that will be beneficial to people? How do you raise offering online? How do you get your messages out there in a way that will be a blessing to the world? All of this have to be learned. I don't know everything, but I'll teach the one I know. 3 days. Netevangelismconference.com. Go and register. It's free for everybody. Just go there now. We only have room for 100 people who can join us live at the same time. So you want to go register and reserve your thing and make notes. You're going to be able to help your ministry. You're going to be able to help your pastor. You're going to be able to do personal ministry that you have not been able to do because you don't have a church. I don't have a church building. I don't have any church expense. But we are ministering to people every day. Our Sunday service, right now, over 3,000 people have watched the video and have not even done paid advert. For some reason, because we played the video at the beginning, Facebook is not allowing me to advertise it. Otherwise, I could have had 10,000 people watch it by now. Just by being on our Facebook page, over 3,000 views. A soul is a soul is a soul, right? Whether they're in a physical building or they're on the internet. Some are still going to get blessed How can you learn how to do that in your ministry? I want to be able to teach you the little I know so that the Holy Spirit can help you to get it better. That is my own mission. My mission is not to pastor church. My mission is to help churches to understand that the internet is now the new move of God to take the kingdom message, not as a live broadcast from your live service, but as a made for the internet thing. Why can't we have a made for the internet Holy Ghost service? The General Overseer of Redeemed Church can have 1 billion people watching him one time. If they advertise that thing well, a made for internet, he stays in his living room and blesses the world right there for 1 hour. Why not? A soul is a soul is a soul. We all need to think big about this internet thing, and I will encourage you to register for this evangelism conference. Be part of the new move of God so that other people can take over and start moving the work of God forward. I'm just my own, just like a kind of John the Baptist. This is not me. Other people will be doing it, and I will be helping them from the background. How to zig, how to zag when everybody around you are zigging. That is what this is about, and I hope that I've been able to at least give you some ideas about how you can actually get things going for yourself, even as things begin to get tough around the world, and it will get tough. You have to understand that. What do you see after you die? What is your perspective? Do you see nothing after death, or do you see a calm? Now I'm preaching. Do you see sinners in the hands of a hungry God when you die? Then you better start making reconciliation right now. Are you here for something, or you are just here by accident? What's your mission in life? What's your purpose? And I'm not just talking church now. Why did God put you here? Have you ever even thought about that? Have you prayed and fasted about it? What do you see? Do you see nothing after death, or do you see sinners in the hands of an angry God? You better be thinking. Because at some point, every one of us, you, me, we're going to account for our time right here on earth. Regardless of what you believe, the fact that you don't believe in Jesus does not mean it doesn't exist. The fact that you don't believe in God does not mean it does not exist. You know in your heart of hearts that you didn't come here by accident. So you got to ask yourself, when you go, how will you give your account? I believe in only two things. Not doctrine, not church, not all those stuff. Love the Lord your God with all your heart. Love your neighbor as yourself. If you can try those two things, you will be okay. Most of the time, the reason why we don't reconcile ourselves with our God, because we never thought about it. If you love God that created you, won't you want to have a relationship with him? And if you love your God, your neighbor as yourself, most of the bad stuff we do to ourselves as human beings, we will not do it. That's why Jesus said the two laws that matter only. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself. Leave out the rest of those doctrine stuff. Those are my passing shot for you here. Do you think you will have to account for your time on earth, or do you suspect there will be a time of reckoning? Is what you are doing right now, is it satisfactory? If you were to go with Corona right now, God will preserve all of us. I know all Christians are in church raising up their hand. I will not go with Corona in Jesus' name. The devil will not. They are quoting Psalm 91 all over the place. But people are dying. Some people have died. Some of them guaranteed will have been Christians too. Some of them will be unbelievers. I'm not saying you will die. I don't hope to die. I'm a high risk coronavirus person because my wife works in a hospital. But I pray for that God will preserve me too. But what if you go? Are you ready? You have time now to start sorting that part out. And if you happen to survive it, then it helps you to continue to grow in the faith. You have to ask yourself, whose report determines what you are doing? Whose report determines your life agenda? Is it the zigging majority or the zagging minority? That's why I'm going to leave it for you today to think and discover. I want to appreciate every one of you that are on this call. There are just too many of you. At some point, we have over 100 people live. I can't thank everybody for coming, but I want you to join us at the Cyber Embassy of Christ. We go to our page and like it. All right, go to our page. It's the Cyber Embassy, facebook.com/Cyber Embassy. And of course, remember to download your free gift. Okay, remember to download your free gift that we give for everybody who's coming today Whether you are a Christian or not, those 3 gifts will be a special blessing to you. One of them is called Overcoming the Gideon Complex. It's a book that will help you to overcome your limitations and fulfill your destiny. We have the blessings of adversity, so that you can begin to know how to bring out the blessing in every adversity that you find yourself. Because the plan of God for you is plan of good, not of evil, to bring you to an expected end. So when you get into adversity, obviously this happened to you with the permission of God. Stop blaming the devil. Instead, start looking at the blessing that could be in that adversity. Because God is always working. He's always recalculating. He's always recalculating your life's navigator to keep getting you to where you need to be. You need to pay attention in your spirit. Go download it. That book will be a blessing to you. I want to appreciate every one of you for being here live. Let's keep the conversation going. Share the video with those you think can benefit from it. Post your comments. I will continue to respond even after this live broadcast is over. Let's keep the conversation going. Let us all begin to learn how to